Hi, I'm Dakota Cross and I am an environmental science major.
I'm Carolee and I'm a communications major.
And I decided to do this garden because I wanted to practice my own sustainability because I feel like it's very important to practice what you're preaching. So this is one of my first steps in my gardening journey and lowering my carbon footprint.
And I'm doing this because I've always wanted to build a garden. We talked about it, and I would love to work with like environmental science nonprofits, whether it be for climate change or anything relating. And I think this is just a great step to start to understand, where to start and where you align your views with.
Mm-hmm. And I also I'm going to be taking a botany class next year, so I wanted to get started on my knowledge of plants and their life cycles. So then we're moving into the research part of this. And gardeners often say that 90% of gardening is actually all of the research and the planning that you're putting into creating your garden beds and getting ready for the next crop season. So we obviously had to research the kind of garden bed that we wanted to do. So we ended up choosing a raised garden bed because it's very good at keeping the weeds out. And then we also had to look at soil composition, obviously, and different composting methods so that we could begin getting ready for the next seasons when we can actually use the compost that we're creating now. So and then we also had to research the good bugs versus the bad bugs. And last but not least, we also had to research the different kinds of plants in the season, the best companion plants for them, as well as just their general needs.
So this is the raised bed that we made, and as you can see, the crates, we did upcycle them. And these are the remnants of what we had left. And to show what we used, here's this one. And you can see how we cut off the edges. And we did that for many so we could make just a big, basically skeleton of a raised bed. And we did run into some issues. So what we did with that to make sure that the bed was supported is we did have to use a little ingenuity and some random stuff around the house. And for that, we got some duct tape, folded it in half, and basically made it as a tie so we could just tie everything together. And for some things you can notice that we have some plates and it's making it so the soil does not push and it does not make the bed just go flat. And this is just what keeps support and everything, so everything's good. And that even when the sun does make all the plants go this way, no garden, none of our bed is gonna fall apart. And as you can see, our garden it's gotten pretty big. And our plants that we have here, we have some corn, some zucchini are these ones, some peppers, and as you can see, the flowers here, there's already a few flowers that already started sprouting. And then we have our big tomatoes, we have one watermelon plant, and I want to say that's all. I might be forgetting one, but if I missed one, we'll talk about it later.
So now talking a little bit about the soil composition and what we did to actually get these guys in the ground. We ended up going with two medium quality bags of soil, and then we went with the two very high kinds for the fruiting and vegetable kind of soil, and then we also went with a soil conditioner. So all of this is because we ended up choosing this option because currently we're not experienced enough to be mixing and testing pH levels by mixing peat moss and sands and gravels and all of these different kinds, or incorporating compost in yet because we just haven't gotten to that level yet. But this is the beginning of it, and we are hoping to continue this indefinitely.
So we did run into very few issues, thankfully, but it was with some of the bad bugs, as you were talking about earlier.
No such thing as a bad bug. However,
for our garden, yes. There was one aphid, and they started, I want to say on the peppers right here, they did get into the leaves. Yeah, it was either these ones or those ones. And what we had to do is we just got a paper towel and made sure we got some of the water from the outside faucet, not any of the one inside the house, just because I have a water softener that
would not kill the plants.
Yeah, not do a lot of good things. And we just wiped them off, and we did have to get rid of them. And then the other bug we ran into was one June bug, and
he ate a chunk of the squash leaf.
Yes, he did eat a big part of the squash leaf, but that was okay. We just shoot him away to another direction, more just to the grass. And we did make sure when we were planting all this not to use any pesticides because again, we're going to be eating these things. We don't want things we don't want in our body.
Yeah.
So,
And pesticide also attributes to like ocean acidification and stuff like that and these greater global problems. So obviously we don't want to be contributing to it when we're doing this to act sustainably. And we also use a fertilizer on the plants as well. And that's just because that helps add more, like, I believe it's either carbon or nitrogen, but it adds it into the soil, and that makes it more likely for these to like start fruiting and start getting more food, because we do want to eat this again.
Want it all natural.
Mm-hmm.
So what's nice about the garden is that it does save us quite a bit of money in the long run. Yes, at first it is an investment, but it is a very good one because it does not just help us in our wallet, but it does help the environment, and it is important to give what we take.
So what we have to be thinking about in our everyday lives, and I don't think many people do think about this, is that all of those groceries that you're buying, they're usually not local, especially when you're buying things that are not in season, or if you're buying something that's like just generally exotic, you know? Those things are shipped like hundreds of thousands of miles, if not just, thousands or hundreds. And they're getting packaged up in all of these plastic when you can just grow it in your backyard.
And what's nice about this project and just doing this garden is that it is very nice to see progress, especially like day by day. Like you come out every single day to water these plants, and you see that the leaves have gotten bigger, or that you see another stem has grew, or another flower has sprouted. And it really is nice to see that you taking care of something, and you get to actually see the progress and know that like I'm actually making some bit of a difference. Even if it's a very small one, it's still a difference.
Yeah, and we've come really far, and we'll put it in now, but here's some photos of what the garden looked like when we first put in
We
the
can
seedlings.
put them in between us probably.
Or just over the screen, who knows?
Yeah.
But yeah, it's hard not to be proud when you can see like these are these living things that we have been fostering and watching grow up, and hopefully we'll take their seeds from once they're done, and we'll have them for the next generation of crop. All right, bye. Have a great summer.